Hi everyone, and welcome to another Heroes and Bosses painting video. This time I'm going to be painting Stormtroopers from Imperial Assault. In this video I'm going to show you a very quick and easy way to paint your Stormtroopers using a minimal amount of paint. The first step in this process is to prime all of our miniatures with a matte white. Next I'm going to paint the guns of all the Stormtroopers using a 50-50 mix of gunmetal and Eshin Grey. I'm going to darken up this paint mixture using a little bit of dead black. This part of the process is pretty easy, and I'm not too worried about hitting the gloves or other parts of the miniature. So next I'm going to use some Eshin Grey with a little bit of dead black mixed in to darken it. Using this I'm going to paint the eyes, the gaps at the knees, the elbows, and the thighs. I'm also going to use this mix to paint the gloves of the Stormtrooper, but the one spot I will avoid is the ridge above his eyes. I'm not going to touch this part of the miniature until I've had a chance to touch up the eyes using some white. Next I'm going to do a few touch-ups using Ceremite White. Now that the touch-ups are done, I'm going to paint the ridge that crosses above his eyes. At each end of the ridge there's a groove that extends upward. If you want your Stormtroopers to look more like the ones from The Force Awakens, you can paint these grooves as well. Next I'm going to wash over all the miniatures using Nuln Oil Gloss. Anytime I paint a miniature that's mostly armor, I like to use the gloss because it creates a much stronger contrast. However, if you want a more subtle shading, you could go with the standard Nuln Oil. So as I'm putting this on, you can see how much of a dramatic difference it's making. There's a lot of small details on this miniature that would be otherwise invisible without the Nuln Oil. So here's a side-by-side comparison of our Stormtroopers before and after. Now we're just going to clean them up with some white paint. For this part I'm using thinned down Ceremite White. So when deciding which parts of the miniature you should repaint white, place it on the table and look down at it at a 45-degree angle and rotate it. Any parts of the miniature that you can see, paint white. If you can't see them, just leave them shaded. I'm giving an extra layer of paint to the top of the head and the top of the shoulders. When using the white, I'm trying to get as close to all the lines in his armor without actually going over them. I'm also giving special attention to all the accessories on his belt and the protruding part on his back. Next I'm going to paint the rim of the bases in 3 different colors. Stormtroopers can be deployed in units of 3, including 3 elite units. The elite units will have their rims painted red to match their cards, whereas normal units will get either a grey or a black base. To make it easier for the Imperial player to keep track of the individual hit points of his or her units, I'm also putting a number on the back of each of the rims. Once the black and red rims are painted, I'm going to paint the tops of all the bases with Mechanicus Standard Grey. I'm also going to paint the rims of the final 3 Stormtroopers using the same color. And of course, I'm also going to put numbers on the backs of these bases as well. Once this final touch is done, I want my Stormtroopers armor to have a nice glossy finish, so instead of a matte varnish, I'm going to be using a satin varnish. So here's the finished result of a very quick and easy process. All 9 Stormtroopers were painted in a single day, and they look great at tabletop distance. I hope you found this video useful, and thank you very much for watching.